Hey guys, this is Jaden Storm coming at you with another clan discussion video. Before I get into this deck profile, this clan discussion, let me make one quick announcement. First off, guys, I am glad that you are enjoying these clan discussion videos. I am going to continue to do them. I really enjoy them, and I'm grateful that you guys have been asking me to do this one next, this one next, and this one next. Suffice it to say, I don't want to just bounce around picking one random comment and choosing to do that clan next, because I don't want others to feel that I am choosing to do someone else's clan over theirs. I'm going to be covering every clan, and I'm going to be doing all of them. So you're just gonna have to bear with me, and I will do these as much as I can, as quickly as I can. The quicker that it gets the 10 thumbs ups that it is required, I will push another one out there. Tonight, however, I'm going to be posting 2, so there will be 2 different ones, and when they both have 10 thumbs up, I might do another 2, so chances are eventually I'm going to hit your clan. So the clan this week that we're going to cover, or in this video making session that I'm going to be talking about, is a clan that was one of the very first few clans that we came in contact with, and that was the Oracle Think Tank. Now, the Oracle Think Tank was one of my first clans to build. The first deck that I ever built was my Barkle Soulsaver deck, and then I built a Draconic Overlord deck, and then when I decided to venture out and build more than just one deck at a time, like most players do in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Oracle Think Tank was one of the next clans I chose to pick up, because Oracle Think Tank was a fun clan. And CEO was always one of my favorite cards, especially with her ability to look at the top card to check for triggers, and then determine whether or not to put it on the top or the bottom. And one thing that I really like is that they have given CEO 3 different forms. We've seen the one out of set 1, and then we saw the one out of Extra Booster 5, and then we saw the promo from set 13. So CEO has gotten a lot of different forms, and then around in when set 9, the one that Aquaforce was introduced, we also got, this came out in set 9. This was released with set 9, when we saw the Platinazel Cross Ride and the Illuminal Dragon Cross Ride, and the Aquaforce Cross Ride for Maelstrom, so it was nice that we finally got to see that, because CEO was one of my favorite Oracle Think Tank. I'm glad that CEO is getting a Genesis counterpart. I'm really excited about that. But to be honest, the first Oracle Think Tank deck that I built was a cross between these two, Goddess of the Full Moon and CEO Amaterasu. I still have 4 of these for trade, counting this one, if that interests you. So if you are wanting to build this deck for memories, I have them, and I'm not valuing these much. So anyway, this was my first Oracle Think Tank deck, and I had a lot of fun with it. Her ability to draw, and then her ability to check the cards, it was just a fun deck to play. Especially when Silent Tom, at one point, I think was the best card in the game. Just because we didn't have any broken monster effect, really, except Silent Tom. Because when you put a Gemini behind Silent Tom and you were able to get him into the 20s with a trigger, it was really hard to deal with him unless you were willing to waste a Perfect Guard to guard it. Other things that we saw, like when set 7 rolled around for Oracle Think Tank, is we saw them get a Battle Sister archetype. And the Battle Sister archetype, outside of this version of the deck, Battle Sister Scarlet Witch Coco, I'm sorry, this is not a Battle Sister. Oh my god, guys, I am out of it. But, okay, so this was like the next Oracle Think Tank powerhouse. It seemed like people were starting to fade away from the full moon, and then they started using this. So you really, at that point, you had 2 different versions. You had a deck that was reliant on the soul, and you had one that required having no soul. That was really interesting. The Battle Sister archetype, however, it never really seemed to take off. I mean, there are good Battle Sister decks. It just doesn't seem that they are as prevalent as they were hoping, I guess. Because I think it's fair to say that the most popular Oracle Think Tank deck were their CEO variants, their Full Moon and Battle Sister and Scarlet Witch Coco variants were their most popular. And, CEO or Scarlet Witch or Full Moon, after those 3 decks died out, it just seemed like Oracle Think Tank wasn't getting any, real support. Because then when Season 3 started, she changed into the Genesis clan, meaning Misaki. Now, we did recently just see Oracle Think Tank get an extra booster based off the manga, and this is probably my favorite version of Oracle Think Tank that I've played, and that is the Magus archetype. And this is the most popular version of Oracle Think Tank right now. You have the Hexagonal Magus, and then you have the Pentagonal Magus. I wanted to build this deck because Pentagonal Magus to me kind of looked like Dark Magician Girl in a way. Pentagonal Magus, I mean, this deck, unlike Goddess of the Full Moon that required a soul, or things like Scarlet Witch Coco that required having no soul, this kind of took the CEO thing and changed it a bit. CEO, you got to foresee the future. The Magus archetype focuses on you predicting it, and if you predict it correctly with her, obviously she's going to gain +5 and a crit. And then with other cards like Stellar Magus, if you guess correctly, it goes to your hand. If you guess incorrectly, you get to unflip the damage that it took to pay for the ability. I mean, the Magus archetype is a pretty interesting archetype, but as the Oracle Think Tank is an interesting clan overall. These are, all very good decks in their own right. The CEO deck was extremely popular, at least it seemed to me it was, because around my locals a lot of people played this variant, and I'm throwing cards. And then when Set 9 came about, we saw CEO get a cross ride that was a very good cross ride that was, in my opinion, underrated. I really thought this was a decent deck. I even won a locals with this. I mean, I think when it was built correctly, it was a really good deck. I have memories of playing with this deck. It was a lot of fun, the Scarlet Witch deck. I enjoyed playing with this deck quite a bit. I know other people did too. It was a very popular deck at one point. As well as this, I really enjoyed playing with this deck because it allowed you to draw 2 cards and then put a card from your hand into the soul, so it had a way of correcting itself. It was just not the best, because her ability is, if all 3 copies of the Ride Chain, the grade 2, 1, and the 0 weren't in the soul, then she dropped to 9,000 power, and 9,000 power for a Vanguard is not good. And then, down the road, we just kind of saw Oracle Think Tank fading into the picture, and then we came across these. Excuse me again. So anyway, Oracle Think Tank as a whole has been a very successful clan. I've really enjoyed them. We know Battle Sisters are going to get more support in the future. Oracle Think Tank, a fun clan that relies on hand advantage, seeing the future, predicting it. It's a bunch of, fortune tellers and mages and things like that. Always a really, really cool thing. If you are wanting to play Oracle Think Tank as a major competitive deck right now, my #1 recommendation would be this. If you wanted to play a budget Oracle Think Tank deck right now, you could play the new Battle Sister support that came in the extra booster with this. But if I was going to recommend budget to any Oracle Think Tank player right now, I would recommend a Goddess of the Sun build, because this deck is not very expensive right now. It's pretty easy to build, considering these are the only 2 cards you need. It has a 12k attacker, and it has a 10k attacker, so it has things that you could make it very competitive with. So if you are wanting to play budget, I would suggest Goddess of the Sun. This was something that someone said that they want me to suggest one of the budget builds, and the best budget build. So if you wanted to play budget right now, I would recommend Goddess of the Sun for Oracle Think Tank, because it's a deck that allows you search power. It has a 13k body Vanguard, which is good, and just a good overall deck. So guys, this one may not have been as long. There really wasn't a whole lot to cover with Oracle Think Tank, because I just tried to cover the key decks that we have seen and that everyone's going to know about. If you played another version of Oracle Think Tank that I did not mention, I'm not trying to insult you. I just try to cover the main ones that everyone knows about, and to kind of give a brief kind of explanation of the clan. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Once this video gets 10 thumbs up, I will do another one. I'm going to be posting 2 this time, so if you liked this one, go check out the other one. Make sure you give them both thumbs up. If they both get thumbs up, I will do 2 more. Or maybe 1 more at a time. I don't know. It just depends on what I feel like at the time. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any further questions about any version of any Oracle Think Tank deck, feel free in the comment section below to post your thoughts, comments, and anything you want to share of the Oracle Think Tank clan. Very fun clan to play. I hope it gets more support in the future. I've always enjoyed playing the clan. I think it's a fun clan, and it represents one of the favorite female characters in the show, Misaki Tokura. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you thumbs this video up, leave all your feedback, and I will see you guys later.